According to Statistics Canada, approximately 1 in 7 Canadian adults has a disability, and with our aging population, the number is expected to grow to 1 in 5 by the year 2036. One of the most significant barriers that people with disabilities face is the built environment, essentially all the places that people live, work, and play. The London Potters Guild has always been mindful of the need to make our facility, the London Clay Arts Centre, accessible to those with disabilities. And that's why, from the beginning, we built accessibility features right into our design plans. Accessibility has always been top of mind as we made major renovations to our building over the last decade. But this is not just our doing or a local initiative. As we move forward in the 21st century, governments everywhere are putting laws in place to ensure that public buildings are accessible to people with physical and mental disabilities. For instance, in 2005, the Government of Ontario enacted a law called the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, or more simply AODA, with the express purpose of improving accessibility to all public buildings by the year 2025. Interestingly enough, it's not just those with disabilities who benefit when accessibility improvements are made. Everyone does. In 2017, our accessibility plans got a financial boost when we received financial support from the Rick Hansen Foundation and the Government of Canada to engage in a series of barrier buster infrastructure improvement projects to help us to remove additional physical barriers in our facility. In all, we completed 5 barrier buster projects. 2 were focused on helping people with mobility challenges, and 3 were focused on helping those with hearing and visual disabilities. Number 1, we installed automatic door openers on the heavy fire doors on the first floor. Number 2, we purchased our first wheelchair accessible pottery wheel. Number 3, we mounted 14 large sound-absorbing acoustic panels to reduce background noise and improve speech intelligibility, which makes a world of difference for those with hearing impairments. In addition, a well-defined, acoustically alive space is easier for people with vision loss to navigate safely using echolocation techniques. Number 4, we purchased augmented sound equipment for persons who are hard of hearing or visually impaired. And number 5, we added technology to allow real-time speech-to-text captioning for those who are deaf.
I'm very excited about the new device, about those panels that will make my life easier and people with disabilities like mine as well. Because even in the Clay Arts Center, I know that there are 2 other ladies wearing hearing aids. We usually don't notice it. Nobody is speaking, oh, I have a problem, but there are people like me.
Since the panels have been placed in the building, has made a huge difference. So it cuts back the noise and it helps with those who have sight challenges, to make it so that they can maneuver more easily. So on top of being able to hear the clarity, you can also get inspiration from the art that's on the wall, and they are members of the Guild. They are children that have participated here.
The panels really help to dampen the sound. Before we had the panels, the sound would echo around the studio.
During this project, we worked extensively with the Canadian Hearing Society, who helped us identify an appropriate sound augmentation system for those who are hard of hearing. The system we selected relies on the use of a very simple transmitter, which transmits sound over FM frequencies. The sound is picked up through a series of different types of microphones. This one here that I'm holding is an in-room mic, which can pick up sound from about 2 or 3 meter circle around it. We also have the over-the-ear microphone, which would be ideal for our teachers. The sound, once received by the transmitter, is then transmitted over FM to an infinite number of receivers, and those devices are simply going to be handed out to our students, and they can put them in their pockets, leaving their hands free so that they can work with clay.
Yeah, it's been working very well. It's very clear and the sound is very close to my ear. I actually have a concussion, so I could see that this would help just localizing the sound, and there's no static, and it really is very clear. I see it could be helpful for people.
I thought it was very helpful. I know people from the past that have had like hearing impairments, so I know how hard it can be to live that way, and it helps people focus. Even if you have kind of like an attention disability, I think it would help too.
We also wanted to be able to offer our classes to people who are deaf. And for them, we've identified an app that can be downloaded to a smartphone, and it works very simply by recognizing voice that is spoken into a lapel mic and then is streamed over the internet to a website so that the person who is deaf can watch essentially captioning on an iPad that's placed in front of them as a teacher is presenting their material.
Yes, wonderful reading the screen, the closed captioning at the same time as watching the teacher's instructions. But definitely good technology.
The other accessibility features that we've put in, like the buttons for the doors, really help someone like me, an able-bodied person, get through the door with like a big box of pots or a tray of things to take into the kiln room and so forth. So it's, it's not, just helpful to people with disabilities.
A lot of students are going to be pretty stoked when they see this new wheel. I'm very glad that the Rick Hansen Foundation came through for us on this. For me, as an artist, it means that now I get to try a lot of techniques and different ways of working with clay that I wasn't able to before. For me, as a person with disabilities, this particular frame means that I can brace my arms on it and access the clay, and I can focus my attention on the clay as opposed to staying in the chair. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and now I get to participate in a class with other people, and for a social aspect that also has a large impact. Thank you.
Working with clay is so therapeutic and relaxing. The feel of the clay in your hands, there really is nothing like it. If you haven't already visited us, we extend a warm welcome to you to join us and be part of our community as we create art and play in the clay.
This video was made possible by funding from the Rick Hansen Foundation and the Government of Canada.